Just going off piece a bit there, Shiv,
Yeah,
you mentioned specifically on the OMS space.
yeah,
And obviously there are a number of vendors out there and they sort of circumnavigate various different functional benefits. There might be cost efficiencies as well,
yeah.
time and with connectivity they have in other platforms, particular asset managers are using. On those criteria, what are the key things that you're looking for from that vendor selection process? What is on that due diligence sheet that's very important for you and your organization in that analysis?
So I guess it's from idea generation to order execution to it reaching the dealers, the traders, and it being executed into the market. Then
Wow.
from there, it just doesn't stop there. It actually has to go down to the back office, middle office, back office. Even before that, it has to go through the compliance engine. So end to end, we want there to be as fewer steps as possible. We want there to be as little risk throughout that whole process. So we would look to make sure that there's, the plumbing's in place, and for it to be robust and scalable. So then, as businesses grow their AUM, as businesses start to invest in more complex instrument types, that OMS solution will be scalable. It'll be robust enough to then help when the business grows. And so that's one of the key things. We always look ahead to say, right, okay, if the assets under management grow or they want to invest in some weird and wacky sort of interest rate derivatives or whatever it may be, that system is fit for purpose. It has the correct controls in place. It has the correct reporting. We know the reg reporting solutions out there. They have to be spot on. And we would ideally look for a solution also to satisfy companies' reg reporting priorities and responsibilities.
I suppose the answer you gave there again focuses on as many, I should say, as fewer manual steps as possible, right? When you're looking for a system, if you're looking for a vendor, you're looking for as much automation as possible, right? As many connecting of the dots and as little manual intervention. So I suppose on that point, on the challenge of those manual processes, what sort of solutions and strategies do you discuss with the asset managers? Because for me and the organizations I've worked for in the past, it doesn't come down to just one stakeholder. It comes down to a much wider scope of the business and looking at that particular angle. But I'm interested to hear your perspective on it.
Yeah. So what we would do is basically, if we were brought in, and this is something that I've actually carried out myself, is to go into a business and carry out workshops with all the different service lines. Start from the top. So say, for example, you've got an asset manager who has a fixed income business, both active and passive. Similarly, they've got an equities business, which is active and passive. They've got a cash business. They've got a derivatives business, LDI business, whatever it may be. I would go in and sit down with each of the key stakeholders within that service line or that business line and see what processes they have at the moment. Brainstorm with them to see, right, okay, where are the biggest risks that they're seeing in terms of all of their processes, end to end. And then I would rate them on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the riskiest, and therefore, again, doing some investigation, doing some analysis on, right, okay, with that rating score of a 5 for that particular process, what impact does that have on the P&L? If that manual process was to fall down, what impact does that have on the P&L? Similarly, on the other side of the scale, you've got a rating of 1 where it could be just a low-hanging fruit. You may need some Excel development to create a report, which can be easily done. So you go in there, you have that framework in place, and then you go away and deliver some of the risk remediation items to reduce the manual processes and eventually the risk of errors occurring in the long run. And I feel, companies and asset managers don't do that enough periodically. I think they just, leave it, they do it once and then they leave it. And I think that needs to be done periodically every year or so, just to revisit what they did a year ago, to make sure that nothing's changed. especially with current climates, M&A activity, and also changing in technologies.
I think it's a really interesting point, actually, because you don't necessarily have to always wait to review those things just based on a big bang transformation process that you may be implementing or looking at. It's always good to just have that intermittent periodic review, like you say, even if it's just a small group of stakeholders within the business, and create that blueprint, right?
Yes,
and say,
absolutely.
look, every 12 months, we'll have a quick look at this again. How's the scoring look? And I say maybe engage with someone like yourself just to come in, 1 day workshop or half day workshop, just to go through it and just go, yeah, I think I'm on the right scale. And again, that could be a cost saving exercise when an eventual transformation occurs, right? Because you've got to bend your eyesight on things. So
yeah,
no, I think that's a really interesting point. On the point of those particular workshops, which I think are a great idea, they're so much more consultative than sort of selling into the business, right? It's such a much better idea. You engage with the stakeholders. Who would you say are the key stakeholders you would want to be involved in those, beginning workshops, so starting process?
So you would definitely need to have someone from the front office. You would need a portfolio manager. You'd also need a trader. We need someone from compliance to make sure that side of things is covered from the reg perspective. You would want someone from pricing. Someone the team who actually prices the assets. It could be the third party. It could be a third party or TPA. You'd also need someone from sort of data management or data ops, whatever business terminology is used in that particular firm. So you'd have a working group, and you would all sit around the table in an ideal situation and go through the processes, and essentially just tick them off as you speak about them and go through them and analyze them.